Oh, let's go take a look. So we're going to see that initial push over Theta. See if we have any spiders in play on this one. Any rushes to that Theta cap. That early cap, I mean, it's tough to get that back. It's really tough to get that back. It could be risky if you want to suicide somebody in there to switch it back. But, you know, that's going to be kind of the first battle to win. And then, of course, we've got the Sigma, Epsilon, Gamma up that right side. That's going to be tough in itself because Epsilon's another key point. Kappa might have a fight over it, but a lot of times Kappa seems to be almost like an insurance. Like if you want to send somebody there, if they get it, that's awesome. He's probably going to be able to keep it for a pretty long time. But that's a lot of, I guess, commitment to take Kappa because you can't just chain it. It's a lot of terrain to cover, and you can't just chain it right to another point.
Yeah, I think ultimately you want to try and focus your attention on controlling either Sigma, Epsilon, Theta, or Gamma, Epsilon, Theta. Those are your 3 points. If you can control those 3 points and hold them, you should be in pretty good shape.
We do have an Atlas on the field, Torn in that Atlas D, LRM 20, SRM 6, AC 24 medium lasers. They have LRMs in the Highlander and LRMs in the Archer, as well as the Stalker. So a lot of LRMs on the field for Phoenix Legion. What do we got over on the Blackwatch side?
Highlander 733C. Have not seen those so far yet, but Stalker, Banshee, Black Knight, Wolfhound, Javelin, Hunchback 4P. Let's take a look at what's in that Highlander. We know the Stalker covers a few LRMs. Highlander does have an LRM 20, but that's a brawler mech. AC 20, SRM 6, 2 medium lasers, and I believe the Highlander comes packing a lot of armor stock.
No mad rush for Theta from either team right now. Everybody's being extremely cautious, just kind of keeping an eye out for anybody that wants to make the push. It seems like main body's going to be able to get
has a
there.
Wolfhound actually sitting watching Theta, but he hasn't pushed forward to try and cap it. And on the other side, it looks like a Locust maybe eyeballing that Wolfhound from across the map. They both kind of know each other there, I think.
Ed here has to be careful. He's got to see Epsilon flashing. He's about to walk up on it. He doesn't know that there's 2 mechs there. He just dropped a UAV, though. That's going to give him information. I think he's going to know.
Yeah, he's got to turn around and run.
He does not want to try and take in, especially that Phoenix Hawk and the Wolfhound both have longer range lasers. They can chase this guy down.
I'm a little surprised that both of those mechs didn't engage a little bit, try and get some shots on. They both tried to shoot down the UAV, but you got to know that a mech dropped that UAV.
Exactly. They could have gotten a little bit of extra scratch there at the very least with their larger lasers, but they opted to just shoot down the UAV. They want to take that vision away, and we'll have to see how that
being
affects
said,
it.
with how passive both these teams are playing, you know, having 2 caps is good, and 228 has a Locust running around in the backfield. Surprised he's not going for a Gamma cap. He's already behind enemy team. Actually just dropped a UAV up in the corner, but I'm not sure he's close enough to see anything there.
This is extremely passive from both teams right now. I feel like we're going to see a really big push here. It's not, there doesn't seem to be a massive emphasis on cap control. I just feel like something's going to be coming in here in a minute.
They're pretty close to each other, and I'm not sure how much information they have. There's some LRMs coming over the hill right now, shooting down on.
Getting hit.
Yeah, getting hammered in that Banshee there.
Obviously, those LRMs do spread out quite a bit,
Black
but
Knight,
you can only take so much of that, though, before it becomes too much. But 228 has LRMs of its own, and it looks like they were taking some shots at those light mechs that were trying to get at Ed there. But he's got LRMs coming towards him, too. Just this crisscrossing of LRMs as everybody gets vision just long enough to flip things over. But
and
Phoenix
the
Legion
Locust has broke cover,
Theta.
And he is getting pounded by LRMs right now. He's in the middle of the field. He actually just got legged. The Locust, did he get legged?
I don't think he got legged.
He got legged? Oh,
no,
he just stopped against the box.
He does only have 1 medium laser and 1 small laser on him, though. I'm not sure if he actually
he lost an arm. That's where the smoke was coming from.
He lost an arm. But we do have a push from 228. Looks like they are done, and they want to get this over with. They're down 3 caps to about to be 2, so they're getting aggressive here.
Maybe that's why that Locust engaged so quickly, but a little bit of a cluster right now for these teams.
So here comes the push, but is it going to stall out? They've pushed, They very well could stall here, but I think that would be a death sentence. They're getting some corner peeks right now, but Defunct kind of getting stuck in the pole there. He doesn't have a
Highlander
retreat.
moving forward, but he is getting pounded. He's backing up into the Stalker. Not a clean move by that Highlander
He's
there.
protecting his mech, though. They want to shred that off and get it to the Stalker. The Stalker has been downed. That's a big kill for 228. They're going to rely on their weaponry here. Look at the accuracy.
They're going to be close into the range right now, getting fire on that Atlas. Yeah, this is a cleaner push after that little bit of traffic jam there.
Of course,
they will take down the Highlander as well. 2 Highlanders.
Yep. So what's that? They didn't have 2 Highlanders.
1 on each team is what I was referring to.
I was like, what? So they're attempting to clean this up. They've got all the heavy guys down except for the Archer. They're working on the Archer right now, and then they're going to need to split for the caps. They pushed early enough that they should have time to spread out and get these caps back.
And more critically, they still have their light mechs available. So yeah, I think they do have the ability to do so. That being said, Phoenix Legion has taken their light mechs and basically gotten out of town. Right thing to do, but they're going to have to spread out big time.
One thing I did notice is there is no I'm having a brain fart now. What's that assault that we keep saying that's 32 kph? Annihilator. There's no Annihilators in play on this by either side. Both teams seem to have gone for more speed, and I think that's going to work really well for 228, that they're not dragging this this Annihilator around. So
Phoenix Legion running kind of a wolf pack at 3 lights here around the backside. They're about to come around the corner and find a hunchback here.
If they have any hope for this, they're going to have to finish this very quickly.
Yes.
They don't have time to mess around. They need to end this quickly if they're going to be able to have any hope to move on.
Let's see what's responding. Got a couple of assault mechs trying to respond. Do have some LRMs coming downfield. They're going to have to move quickly on this hunchback, take him down, and then take out that Locust that's joined the fight as well.
Oh, he just legged a Phoenix Hawk. Toe Talk, the Potato Hunter, just managing to leg one of those critical mechs. And it looks like the other 2 are wanting to keep fighting, but also move towards the cap point. They understand
leave the
that
Phoenix Hawk to try and slow down the Locust. That's the important thing.
But it's about to be 4 cap. It might switch back to 3, but Kappa is falling in favor of Blackwatch, and this is going to be a tall order for Phoenix Legion to be able to pull this back, especially since they're committing almost all of their mechs to 1 cap. They do have another one swinging around 4 Kappa.
Yeah, the Locust. They did send the Locust to Kappa instead of keeping him at Sigma, but we've talked about this. Kappa is the longest trip to get to.
Yep.
By the time he gets there, Sigma's going to be flipped. Kappa's going to be under 228's control for a while, and I think he might have been better served kind of trying to protect Sigma if possible.
So last stand for the Phoenix Hawk. He goes down, and then the rest of them are going to go up and immediately flip Gamma. Doesn't look like they're leaving anybody to try and control that point. They're just going to concede it, and that's going to spell disaster for Phoenix Legion. I think that coordinated push, I even said it before, 228 looks like they're wanting to go. They're not playing the cap game. They're wanting to go. They're gathering up. They're getting their forces up front, ready to go. They're baiting off the lights to try and keep them out of the fight for as long as possible. And then when the call was made, a very, very slick, coordinated push, and just seeing the focus fire from those lasers, they were going center core all the way, and they were doing it in spectacular fashion. You know, it obviously takes them a little bit longer to get those kills, but when you have that many mechs shooting that accurately, it doesn't take much to get the job done.
Yeah.
We saw those assaults dying very quickly.
Yeah, they were able to. They had a little bit of a hiccup right at the beginning. Kind of the Highlander Stalker got a little bit of a bumper car situation right at the top of the hill. They straightened that out, rotated to the right a bit, and had a nice push there. And Phoenix Legion just wasn't prepared to respond to that. You know, if you're Phoenix Legion, you've got to figure out a way to try and slow that down some. Roll for the caps. You know, maybe spread out a bit. Do what you can. But 228, like you said, they seemed determined to make that push. They did it, and it worked out really well for them.
Target spotted.
So 228 about to take that cap lead back, as we have a couple individual fights going on. We see Ed here in the Javelin fighting against the Locust, and he's actually getting some assistance now from a teammate.
Another Locust for 228 that is Panic Button. It's providing some assistance. The Wolfhound goes down. 2 mechs remaining for Phoenix Legion.
Center torso open on the Locust. He's just fighting to do anything at this point, but one more shot and he'll be done.
Target destroyed.
Down he goes. So 5 cap, 1 mech remaining, and this one is just a little bit of cleanup.
Well played, Blackwatch. That was a very clean push. I mean, I think that's pretty much exactly what we expected to see.
Target destroyed.
The enemy has capped enough resources.
Yeah, that was the Blackwatch we expect to see. Clean, aggressive. You know, Blackwatch has never been necessarily a team to sit back and let the match come to them. They are a more aggressive comp team, and it's worked well for them in the past. But 3-16 or 6-18, not 3-18, 6-18 for Chrisman and the Banshee. Hunchback 4P doing 521. That was pretty good for that Hunchback pilot right there. And Adam Archon Steiner and the Stalker 3F 413. Just nice high damage across the board for 228.
I feel like a lot of that was from the pinpoint damage too. Like they brought LRMs to the field. They were able to get some softening. It seemed like the LRMs for the most part were chasing off the lights. You know, a light sees incoming missile, they freak out and they have to get back behind cover again. It's almost like the LRMs were mostly for suppression, and a lot of the kills anyways coming from just well placed laser fire right into the chest where it belongs.
Yep. Yeah, that was just, like you said, a clean push across the board. Phoenix Legion just didn't have an answer for it. They're going to have to come up with something quick here because they're now down 1-0. They lose this next round, and then they'll be in the loser's bracket.
Yep. So now Phoenix Legion, you know, it's not all on the line yet, but like I was saying, they kind of need to make a statement here if they want to say that they want to be in this top 3. This is the place to do it. Well, now they're doing it 1 match behind. Going into game 2, we'll see what map we end up on next. I wouldn't be too shocked to see us go back to Grim, personally. Nope.
Mining.
We are going to mining, so we're going to see a little bit of a different playstyle.
228's playstyle a little better though.
With in what way do you mean?
I think 228 likes being aggressive. I think mining is a little bit more of an aggressive map rather than Grim Plexus. Obviously, it worked for them on Grim, but they had the final pick between Grim and mining, and to me, I think mining's a better brawl map.
Yeah, I can agree with that. At the same time, I think Phoenix Legion wasn't quite getting it done on... I mean, they had the caps. Let's be fair, they had the caps. But, you know, I'd like to see what Phoenix Legion can do when caps... They're not a non-issue, but the caps in this map, I think, become a little bit more of a secondary objective compared to Grim Plexus. This one, I do think that the main body fight is going to really set the tone for how the rest of this is going to play out, the rest of that drop. So we'll have to see how they play it. But yeah, I could definitely see Blackwatch doing a push here, but I could also see Blackwatch pushing for terrain, like pushing and taking Theta and controlling half the map by pushing up, not necessarily pushing to finish, but pushing to control. And then I could also see Blackwatch playing more standoffish and just trying to get up on the damage, trade well. You know, if they decide to go pinpoint here, which I wouldn't be surprised to see mostly pinpoint, PPCs, large lasers, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think on this map you'll see that.
I could see 228 just wanting to outtrade their enemy, and that certainly is a possibility too. But being that they were able to cleanly defeat Phoenix Legion in that push, and it was clean. That was a nice clean push, a lot of clean kills. I wouldn't be surprised that Blackwatch is a bit emboldened by that effort and are going to just take it to Phoenix Legion and just try and end this one right here.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think, you know, like I said, I think Mining Collective suits Blackwatch a little better than Grim did, and if you're Phoenix Legion, that's kind of bad news. You just got rolled basically by Blackwatch. Gonna have to come up with something very quick. Hopefully they're able to do that, but we'll have to find out.
So just waiting on the teams to get readied up, and then we'll be heading back in. But once again, I am doing a giveaway of a mech pack, so make sure you guys are active in chat. Let's see how many people we got entered into it so far. 99. So odds are still pretty good. We've had winners every single time so far. So make sure you guys are getting hyped up. And
We've had winners every single time.
We have had a winner every single time.
Wow.
That was me doing my internal Madden there, you know. And gotta give a shout out though to our referees because they have been doing a fantastic job running this so far, getting the matches off on time, getting the correct settings, haven't had any real issues at all. So big props to the referees, and they're doing much better than the NFL referees. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh, that's not too hard there, but we'd like to try and set our bar a little higher than that.
Yes, we like to have some standards, I think. So, but let's take a look over at Mining Collective on the map here. So Mining Collective, definitely a smaller map than Grimplex's for sure. Less travel, which suits the slower speeds a lot more. But like we said before, not a lot of jump jets in play. They can bring grasshoppers. The Javelin has jump jets as well, so they can get a little bit of elevation. But you're not going to be able to get a lot of mechs up high, and you're not going to have a lot of mobility to be able to jump up and over a lot of these buildings. For the Team 2 side, which is where Phoenix Legion is, you don't have a ton of options to be able to jump people up on some of these high areas here. Like, these were always very popular positions to control the map from.
You're certainly not going to get your Highlanders up there.
Yeah, you're not going to... I don't see it happen. So, Team 2 seems like they're kind of forced into making a maneuver, either controlling this side, taking Theta itself. I don't see a lot of action happening over in this zone from main body. I mean, that would be a hell of a tour, and I think it'd be giving up a lot of map control. So, if I was Team 2, it would seem to me advantageous to try and set up over here to try and control Theta from, have the option to push, maybe put in, like we saw, a grasshopper up on that southern region, like that was Eisengrim, I believe.
Was doing,
was doing that, so they were trying to get their spread there. But Team 1 just has the options of, essentially, you can push, or you can push, or you can stand on cakes, or stand back here. But even there, I mean, they don't have jump jets, they don't have like PPC summoners that can get their shots in over Theta.
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing to keep in mind, we haven't mentioned it yet in this match, but we've been talking about it a lot, is that there's not a lot of ranged weaponry. I mean, your LRMs are your ranged weapons. You have PPCs and large lasers instead of ER larges and ER PPCs. So, 500 meters is kind of the place you want to be at. 500-600 meters. You start trading at 800, and you're really not doing that much damage at all.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, if they're trading, like, let's say back here to back here, yes, that's going to do nothing. But if you've got guys sitting up on Theta and you're trading from here, that's about 500 meters right there. So that's going to be, you'll be able to do that. So that means, I think, one of the teams is most likely going to be taking across Theta, either through force or it's going to be conceded to them. And then at that point, we're going to see some trading, across half the map, and we're going to possibly see some light play on the outside. But there's only one way to find out. Let's get in there and take a look. Mining Collective, drop 2. Blackwatch up 1-0 on the series in this best of 3. Alright, let's take a look at what we got. Just waiting on everybody to come in on their drop ships. Welcome to Mining Collective.
One of my favorite maps in the game, although I have to say Rubelite has grown on me a lot.
If only it wasn't a hot map, right?
I don't get that upset about that.
Alright, we are on the Blackwatch side. Let's see what kind of mechs. We got a Panther, panic button in a Panther.
Ooh.
And they have an Orion. What do we got in this Orion? SRMs, AC-10. We got a Banshee, PPCs, AC-10, SRMs. Stalker 3F, standard build, 2 LRM-10s, 2 SRM-6. We got the Black Knight, of course. We have a Lone Panther on this left side. He is slow. That is a slow Panther. 1 PPC and an SRM-4.
Yeah, they are not fast mechs, but they do have the PPC, a little bit more of a ranged light mech with that PPC, but an Orion as well for Phoenix Legion. So interesting that both teams go for the Orion. It is a little more of a brawl mech, but he's playing a little bit on the high side, taking some PPC fire, early PPC fire from down the line. 228 now sees that Orion, and that is that Panther. Okay, they did get the Panther up there with the jump jets. He's just going to fire downfield.
That Panther's getting good vision over there.
Yeah.
He sees Phoenix Legion on that side, and I think that's clearing Blackwatch to essentially push up through Theta and take essentially half the map on this. Seems like Phoenix Legion's taking a very standoff position, maybe expecting an aggressive push. Ooh, a nice airstrike across Defunct there. Doing some pretty good spread, but decent damage, 16% taken off of his mech. And they are pushing up to Theta to flip it back. It looks like they want to really take strong side here. And we'll see if Phoenix Legion's able to trade back into them, or if they're going to just start striking them out up on top here.
Yeah, and I don't know how many angles right now Phoenix Legion has from this position. They've got the Stalker. It looks like the Stalker and the Annihilator can fire downfield, but even still, that's a little cramped. Not sure how many other mechs can make that engagement.
Not a lot of room, though, for Blackwatch to maneuver here. I think if you just lob LRMs downfield, you're probably going to hit somebody. They're actually backing 3 mechs out of Theta after neutralizing it, but not capping it. They've got the Javelin there. He's attempting to take it back, but he's getting burned by that Hunchback 4P. They still haven't been able to snake it back. They're getting good angles on Theta to prevent him from taking it. We have 2 caps on either side. Kappa, Sigma. We've essentially rotated the map 90 degrees here. Both sides have their ramp overlooking a neutralized Theta. Blackwatch definitely playing a lot closer to the point than Phoenix Legion, but an interesting spread of mechs here for Phoenix Legion.
Yeah, Phoenix Legion, I think, right now has a little bit of the damage advantage, which is pretty close, and that was a big strike across the Stalker. Might have helped even that out. Let's see how much damage he's taken now. Down to 90%, so still pretty healthy. But definitely trading with some of these mechs downfield. Looks like the Banshee actually firing some PPCs downrange at that Stalker, trying to get a couple shots in. Like you said, both these teams kind of stand off, but across Theta from the ramps, a little bit different.
Aggressive maneuver from the Wolfhound, getting up in their faces here. Doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver. If they decide to really peek out this side, he's going to be forced out and possibly sent with a care package of laser fire. It looks like the Locust and Javelin just gave him a mean mug, and Queen Blade is on his way out, which is, in my opinion, a smart maneuver. Get out of there. That was a dangerous place to be. So no back capping going on. Everybody really content just trading right now. And I don't see a clear winner in terms of trades. In fact, I think Blackwatch, because of some of the strikes, have actually taken more damage than Phoenix Legion. They're trying to get the Javelin to get a pop on Theta after it's calmed down a bit, and he did manage to get it. So now we've got the cap advantage for Blackwatch. Just a sliver cap, though. Anything could flip it back.
Yeah, the question is whether Blackwatch is going to allow them to flip it back. They've got both teams basically have a hunchback kind of on the ramp with that medium laser hunch, basically trying to protect it as best they can. Those high-mounted lasers help you peek on the ramp, but the other thing you got to keep in mind is that's what's going to get hit the most, and that's where all your weapons are.
This is kind of some classic pinpoint fire going on here. They have that Panther sitting up in the backfield with the PPC, but you know, everybody just kind of whittling each other down. We're not seeing a lot of aggressive outside maneuvers to really make any significant dent. I wouldn't be surprised here if we see a push, and it looks like that Annihilator strong siding up this left side. They are opting to send their guys up. I wouldn't be surprised to see 228 head up into Theta, get up on top of them, and start shooting down on them. And that's exactly what they did.
They're doing.
So Phoenix Legion making that maneuver because they lost Theta. They had to do something, but now they're going to rotate around and look at Blackwatch just essentially mirroring their movements.
And that Wolfhound's about to start coming behind them and getting a lot of fire in.
A lot of free damage.
Black Knight, yeah, free damage is going to come in. If you're Phoenix Legion, you got to get out of this position.
I mean, Phoenix Legion had to do something. I'm just not sure if essentially pushing out that outside was the best, because
I think
you knew Blackwatch could just go up over the top. If they wanted to try some sort of split push with the Annihilator or something, but that was a pretty bloody tour that I think brought the percentages back in favor of Blackwatch. They had been trading pretty well in the beginning, I thought, and but it's starting to tip back the other way.
So now they've kind of swapped positions
Oh, looks
here.
like I got a javelin up behind that Panther.
Yeah, this javelin needs to know that Panther's there, though, and go put some fire down on him.
He's not trying it. It looks like he might in a second here. But here we go. A second big push. This one's going to be right up the gut, though. And it's stopping. They're still, I don't know if they're going for trades or what. Oh, they're waiting on the Annihilator. They're using the Annihilator as bait, basically.
And
they're bleeding
need
him
to
out. But they're getting stuck on each other. That Orion getting stuck around the corner. And a huge airstrike right down the middle of them. Right down the ramp. And here we go. Hunchback 4P getting
4P
slaughtered
went down first.
They went for a
Black
cap.
Knight going down.
That light mech, the Javelin, went for a cap on Epsilon instead of taking that Panther from behind. Four
Stalker
quick
down.
mechs
Yeah,
dead
that
for Phoenix Legion.
Good focus fire coming up the ramp. That strike was huge.
They should have had that Javelin in the fight. I mean, that was too late to start worrying about getting a back cap at that point, especially when they knew, Phoenix Legion knew they were going to push. So why did they send their light off to cap Epsilon? He should have been in the fight. He should have been backstabbing Panic Button in the Panther. I think that was a misplay right there, thinking that they were going to be able to do something only halfway through the tickets with one additional cap. It's not gonna change the outcome of this battle. But that initial tour by Phoenix Legion, I think personally, if they were going to push, I would have much rather seen a push down the middle right away instead of doing that outside tour. It just basically
the outside
tipped it
tour
right back
allowed
in favor
them,
of
like you
228.
said, to get on. Yeah, they got on Theta. They got around behind them. They
didn't gain any
They
ground.
had the high ground. Yeah, and they gave up damage for nothing, basically.
Yeah, they weren't returning fire. You know, that Wolfhound getting in behind them, taking some pretty big hits.
We have gained Epsilon.
Yeah. 228 Blackwatch is just too experienced to try and do something like that and think that you can get away with it.
Well played, 228.
Yep. So
Taking
we've
it
seen this now
2-0.
twice in the tournament with Phoenix Legion and Dudes Clubs, teams that come out strong in their first round and then get wound up, Dudes Club going against Eon Synergy, Phoenix Legion going against 228 Blackwatch, some of these top teams, and the top teams showing that, they aren't just last year's big names. They're coming out strong in this year's semifinals as well.
And obviously, vision, they knew where Phoenix Legion was at all times. They always had eyes on them. They knew when they were going to push up that left side. And the logical play that 228 just had to basically follow the script is, if they push us on the left, we push up over the top. They've gained 0 ground and they've taken a lot of extra damage. If there was some sort of perhaps split push, like maybe if they sent the Annihilator up the middle with a couple other heavy guys and then pushed some faster guys around behind, but even that is risky to pull off because they would have to have that outside rush happening a lot sooner.
Yep.
And if 228 saw that, they're only pushing us with 4 mechs, they would stand their ground and just slaughter down those 4 mechs. So I just feel like
that's tough timing to pull off, but I think it gives you a better opportunity than what they did, unfortunately.
I do think that Phoenix Legion was doing a very good job at the beginning of that. It got away from them though. But I felt like they were trading well against Blackwatch. Their arty strikes and their airstrikes were on point. They kept Theta neutralized, and it's when they lost Theta, they were forced to make a decision. We push.
Yeah.
They pushed, I think, the wrong way. I think it would have been tough for 228 to defend that, especially when a lot of them were down on that bottom ramp. I think Phoenix Legion could have gotten up and fanned out a little bit up on top of Theta and gotten better angles to be able to control Theta, flip Theta back in their favor, still put out a decent amount of damage. But ultimately, swinging around that backside and that airstrike right down the ramp was just
Perfect timing.
A cherry. It was a cherry on top, and I felt like somebody was going to be saving it for the push. I felt like somebody was going to save an airstrike for that, and whoever dropped that airstrike, it was a beautiful strike, and it
was good.
It dealt some pretty significant damage. But when they lost Theta, that started tipping it against Phoenix Legion. They did a good job controlling it for a very, very long time. Then when they lost it, I think they pushed the wrong way. I think up Theta would have been better. And then at the end, when they did decide to do that final push, they were coming from behind essentially because they had already lost a lot of armor at that point. They sent the light off to cap. I think he should have been backstabbing panic button. I don't think it would have made a big difference. Let's be honest. I don't think it would have made a big difference.
It probably
but
would have made
helped.
a difference, but it would have given them, a better chance than what they had.
Yeah, it could have helped, and it would have taken. I mean, the Panthers not going to be running off getting any caps, but you know, maybe that one lone light mech could have made some sort of difference, or made it a little bit even, or something. I don't know if maybe Phoenix Legion knew that this was going to be their final push and that it wasn't going to be pretty, but really, number 1 and number 2, that's where it got away from them.
Yeah.
So, but it was well played. I mean, I thought Phoenix Legion looked really good at the first half of that.
The first half of that match was good. Like you said, it got away from them. If you're Phoenix Legion, you got to sit back. You got to look at that and say, you know what, that didn't work at all. Let's not do that again. They're still in it. They're going to drop down to the losers bracket, but there's still a chance that they're going to be able to continue to move on, and you can still make the top 3 from that bracket, but their margin for error is gone now, unfortunately for them. They've got to go back, clean that up, figure out what went wrong, and figure out how to fix it, and they're going to have to do it fast. But for 228, a very solid start. That's what we expected to see out of them, and they did not disappoint.